Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. I can finally say this. Help is on the way. Listen to me, Ravens flock. Help is on the way. Finally, some good news. We're still in week 3, obviously, Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Eagles. Once that passes by, week 4 will officially be here. And what does week 4 represent? Well, it represents the week we are getting back 2 players on our offense. 2 receivers, in fact. It's finally good to say this, but we got the news from Harbaugh today that both Miles Boykin and Rashod Bateman will be practicing this week. And obviously, since it's week 4, they are eligible to play in this game against the Broncos if the Ravens feel that they are ready to go. So we may end up seeing Rashod Bateman and Miles Boykin play this week. However, I'm going to pump the brakes on that because it's been a while since we've seen Bateman practice. So I'm not sure he's going to debut against the Broncos. My guess would probably be somewhere maybe around week 6. They might want to give him an extra week. He may show up next week. Who knows? Depending on how he looks, they may throw him out here against the Broncos. But I think they're going to give him a little bit extra time. But this is good news, guys. Rashod Bateman finally practicing. He will be on the field soon. Help is on the way in terms of the receiving core. You cannot believe how much Ravens flock have put so much faith and belief and expectations on this young man. Everyone expects this guy to come in and completely change the entire outlook of our passing game. He's supposed to be the difference maker. He is supposed to be Lamar's true number 1 receiver, and we'll see if that's going to be the case. I'm excited to see him. You're excited to see him. We're all excited to see him. But before we continue to talk about that, we got to talk about some other things first, just to get that out the way. We are getting Bateman and Boykin back. However, we are not getting Nick Boyle back. Nick Boyle is still not ready to go. It's going to take some time for him to come back, so we'll see how that situation develops over the next several weeks. Another thing, Ronnie Stanley, his condition, we don't exactly know what's going on with that situation. He's still getting checked by the doctors, and we don't exactly know what's happening with that, but there's no timetable for Stanley's return. It may be an external period of time. We don't know. He may be out for the next couple weeks. We just don't know. That's all I can say. We just don't know about that situation. Another player, Desean Elliott, he's kind of, his situation's a bit, weird, or at least interesting. He's dealing with an injury. I think it's muscle related. It's muscle related, but it's not clear what the injury is. They're kind of monitoring him. I don't know exactly how severe that injury is, or if he's going to miss this upcoming game against the Broncos. I don't know. But his is being monitored. We'll figure that out, as the news comes out. I think it's kind of day to day or week to week, but we don't exactly know the full extent of his injury. It doesn't seem to be clear in that situation. And then another person who got injured as well in last week's game against the Lions, Dalen Hayes. Dalen Hayes, he suffered an injury, and today was confirmed that he was put onto IR. So I don't exactly know how that situation is going to go for him, but he was put on IR. He's going to be out. So that is unfortunate. And that is pretty much the whole situation regarding injuries and how that whole situation is going. So, yeah, Stanley, we just don't know his timetable. We don't really know much about Nick Boyle's timetable. We don't really know much about Desean Elliott's timetable. And Hayes is now on IR, so we'll see how that goes. But some positive, you get back Boykin, you get back Rashod Bateman. Now, in terms of Boykin already knows how we play in this offense, and he kind of already knows where his role is. So I wouldn't be surprised if Boykin is, when he's practicing this week, he gets back to where he's supposed to be, and then we see him on the field against the Broncos on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But Bateman is a different case. Bateman has not practiced since what? August? Early August. It's been a while since this man has actually practiced. So I don't think he's going to be available for this game. It all depends on how he looks at practice. It's just a positive thing to see he's going to be practicing again this week. But it's all going to depend on how he's looking in practice this week. If the Ravens feel comfortable with what they see in Bateman and he's able to get up to speed and he looks like he's ready to go, the Ravens might just throw him in the game against the Broncos this Sunday and we'll see him debut in week 4. If that's not the case, they might move him back to next week. I think the latest we may see this man is going to be week 6. The earliest is next week. I don't think, they're going to wait that long. In fact, I don't even think they're going to debut him here in this game against the Broncos, nor do I think they're going to wait as long as week 6. They're probably going to give him a week to get into rhythm, see where he is. And considering Bateman, he's a worker, man. He's a hell of a young player. So we know he's going to be out there putting in the work. He's going to be able to catch up fast. And next thing you know, by next week, he'll be able to play. Then again, who knows how? It all depends on how these practices go. If he can get into rhythm like that, and all of a sudden he's caught up and he's looking great, the Ravens might be like, let's throw him out there. But if, he's not exactly up to speed by the end of the week, then they'll be like, let's give him an extra week, then we can throw him in week 5. My original guess was always week 5, week 6. I knew he'd be available by week 4 so he could start practicing again. But in terms of him actually debuting, I said week 5, week 6 because he would have to give him some time after he's able to officially practice. So we'll see what happens with him. In terms of Boykin, he might actually play Sunday. Again, he knows how our offense operates. I wouldn't be surprised. He also knows where his role is. So I would not be surprised if he ends up playing on Sunday against the Broncos. So in terms of Boykin, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play on Sunday, but Bateman would be a surprise. I think it may take him a little bit longer. And of course, Ravens flock aren't really excited to see Boykin coming back on the field. Everyone's giving him the cold shoulder because of his performance. So yeah, there's that. But everyone's so excited for Bateman. Like I said, a lot of people expect him to be Lamar's true number 1 receiver. He's going to come in and he's going to be such a difference maker, especially with how Lamar has improved as a passer. Speaking of that, if you actually have taken a look at how Lamar has played throughout the first 3 weeks in terms of just mechanics and throwing the football, you can see he's vastly improved. And the Lions game yesterday clearly showed how improved he has been as a how improved he is now compared to what he was before as a passer. He has made tremendous strides in his mechanics and how he's throwing the ball. You can see it's coming out with more velocity. He's throwing a lot more spirals. In fact, he was throwing nothing but spirals in that game. He has been throwing at such a different level compared to what he was doing last year. You could see the improvements. I'm not going to go deep into how much he's improved in this video. In fact, I'm going to wait until week 8 so we can actually, get some time in towards get some time in terms of seeing how much he's improved, because I feel like the first 8 games of the season, or at least the first half of the season, will give us a good gauge of his improvement in terms of taking those shots down the field, his overall mechanics, and how the ball's coming out of his hands. We can discuss that after the first half of the season is gone for the Ravens. Talking about it after 3 games, it doesn't feel right here. But I could definitely tell you, if you've been paying attention, Lamar Jackson has definitely improved throwing the football. In fact, right now, I think he's actually leading the league in yards per completion at like 14.4. The second person is Matthew Stafford at 14.3, I believe. So he's number 1 in yards per completion. That's crazy. And in fact, in the game against the Lions yesterday, his yard per... I'm messing up my whole thing here because I'm trying to remember the whole numbers. But his yards per completion in the game yesterday against the Lions was 19 yards per completion in yesterday's game against the Lions. 14 yards per completion throughout the first 3 games of the season. And if you've seen how he's been playing and how he's been taking shots down the field, you could see he's being aggressive. This isn't him just dumping, passes off, quick pass, 5-yard pass, taking checkdowns. He's not doing that. He's going for those passes down the field. He's taking shots down the field. And he's actually doing a great job at doing so. It's just his receivers aren't catching the ball. Not saying he's been perfect 100% of the time. No, he's missed some throws down the field. We have clearly seen it. But all quarterbacks are going to miss throws down the field. It's just you have to be able to connect at times. And Lamar has been connecting with his receivers. They just have not been catching the ball. All day yesterday, he was connecting with Hollywood. Couldn't make the catch. He connected on one deep pass on a go route to Sammy Watkins. They couldn't connect there. Though, I'm not going to completely blame that on Sammy Watkins. That is a catch he should be able to make. But still, the defender tipped it up slightly. So even though it hit the hands of the receiver, and I'm always, of the mindset of if the ball hits your hands as a receiver, you got to make that catch. Because I know the top receivers are making that catch. Stephon Diggs is not dropping that pass. Okay? DeAndre Hopkins isn't dropping that pass. It's as simple as that. Devontae Adams, he's not dropping that pass for the most part. Though he did drop a pass in yesterday's game, but that's a different situation. But, they're not usually dropping those type of passes, even if it's tipped. But I can give I can let it slide for Sammy Watkins in that situation because it was tipped. However, when it came to Hollywood's drops, that's a different situation. And I cannot tell you how many Ravens fans were either on my timeline or just all over social media. When Hollywood was dropping these passes, I would see one or two of those comments, or even a bunch of those comments that would say, Bateman wouldn't drop that. Bateman will definitely catch that. If that was Bateman in that situation, he's not dropping that. So yeah, it's safe to say Ravens flock is very excited to see Rashod Bateman finally practicing. We're hopeful that he'll be on the field soon, and we just can't wait to see what he can do, because once him and Lamar can get that connection going on the field, he is going to be a legit weapon for Lamar. He's going to be a serious weapon for Lamar. Lamar already has chemistry with Sammy Watkins. He has chemistry with Hollywood Brown. He's got chemistry with Mark Andrews. If he can get chemistry with Bateman, and the O-line can continue to protect him, and we can get our guys back and continue to get healthy, we could really do something this season. It really just depends on that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm so excited to get Boykin and especially Bateman back. We'll see what happens with them. Hopefully, they'll be able to play soon, but, I don't expect them to play in this game against the Broncos. Maybe Boykin, but not Bateman. With that being said, that is all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!